Those two horns, where are they for? And how come one little eye is blue?
Well, I know that the one on the left is
Okay, so they're really separate. Oh, good. I feel better.
Let's start with the chanting. Homage to Him, the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Homage to Him, the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Homage to Him, the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dhamma. I take refuge in the Sangha. For the second time, I take refuge in the Buddha. For the second time, I take refuge in the Dhamma. For the second time, I take refuge in the Sangha. For the third time, I take refuge in the Buddha. For the third time, I take refuge in the Dhamma. For the third time, I take refuge in the Sangha. I undertake the precept to abstain from harming living beings. I undertake the precept to abstain from taking what is not given. I undertake the precept to abstain from sexual misconduct. I undertake the precept to abstain from false speech. I undertake the precept to abstain from intoxicating drinks and drugs that lead to heedlessness. Alright, so let's take a couple of minutes to relax our body and calm the mind. Understanding your sitting posture, the way you are seated. Feeling the presence of yourself in this peaceful atmosphere. Simply letting go of all the thoughts, past experiences, the memories, bringing your mindful attention to the present moment, taking a few deep inhalations and exhalations, some long, gentle, mindful breaths, releasing any tension and negative energies from your body. Make yourself very comfortable and relaxed. Being very friendly to yourself, filling the entire body with the mind. You may wish yourself and bless yourself for your physical and mental well-being. May I be well. May I be happy. May I be relaxed. May I be peaceful. accepting yourself and appreciating yourself for being who you are and what you are. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Can you open your eyes? So welcome back to our Monday evening Sutta discussion. So today we selected the Dasa Dhamma Sutta for the discussion. The Sutta comes in the Anguttara Nikaya, the numerical discourses. So let's go through the Sutta, and since there are 10 Dhamma factors, we can talk about them, we can discuss on them as we go through. The Sutta starts with Evam me sutam ekam samayam bhagava savatyam viharati jetavani anatha pindikassa arami. This is how almost all the discourses starts with. Many of the discourses were given by the Buddha when he was residing at the Jetavana Rama. That is where Buddha spent most of his life. It was a very famous temple during that time, and there were hundreds of monks living in that temple. So therefore, many of the Buddha's teachings were given in that location. So this sutta, the Dasa Dhamma Sutta, also was given when Buddha was residing at the Jetavana monastery. It was offered to the Buddha by Anathapindika, the chief lay disciple of the Buddha. So it's a very well-known devotee of the Buddha. So the meaning of that, thus I have heard at one time the Blessed One, the Gracious One, was dwelling near Samatthi at Anathapindika's grounds in Veda's fort. So that is the meaning of it. So there, Tattako Bhagava Bhikkhu Amantesi Bhikkhuvoti Bhadante te Bhikkhu Bhagavato Pachasosam Bhagava Etadavocha. There it was that the Gracious One addressed the monks, saying, "Monks, Reverend Sir." Those monks replied to the Gracious One, and the Gracious One, the Blessed One, said this. So, how Buddha gave his teachings, is different. How he started his teachings. Some people, even the devotees, came to him with direct questions, as they were practicing the Dhamma, or even how they had different questions, problems, difficult times in their life. So seeking some guidance, advices, they came to the Buddha with these direct questions. So then Buddha directly answered them. So they also became different parts of the teachings. So you can find that kind of discourses in the Tripitaka, the Pali Canon. So sometimes Buddha addressed the monk or any audience, his disciples, and he just shared his teachings without any direct question. But mostly Buddha, after surveying the audience, knowing the audience, sometimes there would have been thousands of people, hundreds of people, but the main target for that occasion was maybe one person. After surveying the congregation, the audience, Buddha finding out the most suitable person for the Dhamma to be realized. So Buddha selecting this person directly shared the teachings, focusing on that particular individual. But others also at the same time benefited from the teachings. So there are times like that, So this is one of those occasions that Buddha shared his teachings directly, having no any questions from the audience. So sharing his teachings, Buddha started Dasa me bhikkhave Dhamma pabbajitena abhinnam paccavikki tabba khatani dasa. There are these 10 things, monks, that one who has gone forth should frequently reflect on. What are the 10? So, in this discourse, Buddha is teaching a group of monks, gathering of monks, about these 10 things, 10 Dhamma factors, as they should frequently reflect on. So this is directly was given to a group of monks, not for the lay community, lay people, but that audience was a group of monks, his own disciples who had gone forth as monks. But as you go through these 10 factors, 10 Dhamma factors, we can see how they can be equally important, beneficial for anyone. It can be a monk or it can be a lay person, regardless of any backgrounds. These 10 factors are equally important. So that's why I selected this discourse for you today. So the first one, Vevanyamhi ajyupagatopi abbajitena apinnam paccavikki tabba. The meaning, I have become one who has no appearance, within brackets distinctive appearance. One who has gone forth should frequently reflect on this. So this is the very first thing that one should frequently reflect on. So what does it mean? I have become one who has no distinctive appearance. So if you think about this as especially for a monk who has left the families, all other worldly engagements, luxury life, maybe they have fully dedicated their life to the spiritual practice directly. So for one like that, that person should reflect on this factor very frequently, thinking that I have become a different person now. I'm a different person, but it has nothing to do with how I appear to the world, society. What it simply means is that, even the spirituality, this is very important to anyone who practices the Dhamma, meditation, or any spirituality. Sometimes people will take that practice itself as a reason to show up. That's the direct, simple meaning. Sometimes they try to deceive others. Why? To get benefits, by being famous, being targeted or being spotted, being noticed easily. They get their attentions. They can get others' attention very easily because they are special. So if you think about today in society, it's very easy to be very popular. What would you have to do? What do you think? I don't think by shaving your head can be very popular, right? Because many people like to shave their heads today. It's not a special thing that much, but still, if you wear something different, very unique, maybe with a long beard, even long hairs, maybe, I don't know. So depending on that appearance, people can be very easily noticed. So they can get others' attention. I saw a documentary once, how an American boy tried this, tried to get others' attention. He wanted to see how other people react to that person's just superficial appearance, but he disguised in a spiritual way. So that was his intention, to see how easily he could get others' attention. So the purpose of this spirituality is not that. That is the meaning here. So people sometimes can use it for the benefit, to get benefit from others. Sometimes people can respect you, even offer things. Like, in monks' case, people take care of the monks. So there were situations like that, even among the monks' community, this monastic community. Even during the Buddhist time, they just showed up, having no genuine qualities, having no proper genuine practice. They deceive people, So people having no any idea, just from the superficial appearance, they venerated them, they respected them, they offered things, they praised them, things like that happened. So there's something going on like that in any community, any society, in any religion, in any spirituality that it can be found. But Buddha is advising the monastics here that becoming a disciple of the Buddha, it is not the purpose of this spiritual path, spiritual practice, not to deceive others, just by the superficial appearance. So I have become a different person in that way. So you can see that even in normal society, this is one of the purposes of the worldly people. They want to be easily noticed. You know what people do for that, right? So it is a very common thing. It's a worldly thing, led by different desires, ego, and even the man and conceit, the arrogance. So that kind of background is helping, that type of attitude. So when someone becomes a spiritual person, following the Dhamma, especially this spiritual path, it should not be the purpose. Okay, that is what it simply means here. I have become one who has no distinctive appearance. One who has gone forth should frequently reflect on this. Okay. Any questions about that? Any idea? Is that clear? Okay, let's move to the next one, the second one. Parapatibaddhami jivikati pabbajitena abhinnam pacchavikkitappa. So this is also very important. I really like that. I am bound to others for my livelihood. One who has gone forth should frequently reflect on this. This is a wonderful thing to think about. What it simply means is that we are always supported by others, right? It's a very general idea, a very general thing to understand, that we cannot survive alone, right? We cannot live alone. Especially as human beings, we have to get the support from others. If you think about that very broadly, in a very broad perspective, it's a very unique thing to think about. You know, how much power I have to, how much power do I have to survive by myself, or is it possible? So when you think about that, how many things we need to survive in this world, you know, directly from our relationships, especially when you think about human life, we always have to depend on our parents, our family members, our friends, relatives, maybe spiritual people, you know, our teachers. So we are always connected with these different circles, you know. We are not alone. We cannot survive alone. There's no such thing in this world for human beings, you know. For animal kingdom it can be different. You know, maybe sometimes for animals, they have to depend on their parents, maybe mother, for a couple of hours. So they can find their own food, or maybe a couple of days after they can survive. But human life is different. As humans, we cannot survive like that on our own. So we have to get this support. We have to be supported by other people around us. So that is one aspect. And also going beyond that, if you think about, we are always depending on this nature. We are always breathing in and out. If you think about that point, we are depending on this valuable thing, so precious thing, the air we breathe in and out, the most vital force for our life. The food we eat, the water we drink, all these things are helping us survive in this world. You know, having no these important necessary conditions, our life would have been a disaster. There's no survival on this planet. So we always have to think about that I cannot survive alone. I have to have this support from others, external world, the nature, and everything like that. What do you think? What can happen when you think that way? Why is it so important to think that way?
I think it connects us to everyone else, and hopefully
Exactly.
become more kind.
That is the most important aspect to that, right? We make these positive connections, you know, not just from the superficial level, materialistically, but spiritually we try to make these connections, you know, genuine connections with others. And there comes a real loving kindness, compassion, caring, helping, everything, you know. That is the most important thing for our life, to have this spiritual connection with others, you know. If you do not think that way, you don't care. You don't care about others. You don't see any value in relationships, other people around you, this nature. There are people like that. They don't care. They don't understand the value of these things. You know, they don't have even a clue how these things are helping them. You know, so they take these things for granted. That's a huge mistake. And what other thing can happen to you when you think that you cannot survive alone? You have to depend on others. very importantly, you become a very humble person. You know, you become a very humble person. How much power do I have? You know, in this survival process, I do not have that much power. You know, if I am alone. So you become a very humble person, and you respect others. You respect the nature. You know, and even in return, you become a grateful person to others, to the nature, other people, your relationships. So you see this broad connection when you think that I am bound to others for my livelihood. I'm always supported by others. So this is something we need to reflect on very frequently, every day, all the time. You know, it brings such a harmony. You know, spiritual harmony, social harmony, harmony in relationships. You know, this is very important. Okay. And the third one, Anyo me akapo karaniyoti pabbajitein abinnam pacchavikkitappam. I should comfort myself differently. One who has gone forth should frequently reflect on this. Anyo me akapo karaniyoti means when you follow this spiritual path, when you practice this special Dhamma, the teachings of the Buddha, we have to change ourselves in our attitudes. You know, so comparing with the normal, usual world, society, how people are living in this world, you know, being very materialistic, being very selfish, being very self-centered, without caring for others, you know. So when we practice this Dhamma, we have to change this attitude into positive ones. So this is a very important aspect to our practice. You know, so we have to remind ourselves, you know, I'm a different person because I practice this Dhamma. I follow this spiritual path. So I am a unique person. I am a special person. How can you use that type of thinking? You know, especially for any negativity that arises within yourself. Suppose you get angry easily sometimes, you know. So when you have anger in your mind, you can think that, this is not something for a person like me. This is not something good for me. And it is not good for my physical and mental well-being, for my spiritual path. So therefore I should stop that. I should let go of that. I should not keep that. I should bring that to an end. So this is how we can think when we look at ourselves differently in a positive way. So that is also to be reflected on very frequently. It can really change our behavior, it can change our perspective, it can change our attitudes in our everyday life. It's very important. And then the fourth one, Kacchinuko me atta silatona upavadantiti pabbajitena abinnam pacchavikkitappam. Can I myself find no fault with my virtue? One who has gone forth should frequently reflect on this. This is about our self-virtues, self-discipline, maybe our self-practice. How satisfied you are, you know, how satisfied you can be about your behavior, your attitudes, your sila, your morality, you know, your discipline. Do I question my morality, my discipline? So you have to think about it all the time. You know, it's very important. You know, sometimes people do things in secrecy. secretly, hiding from the world, hiding from others, you know. But your heart knows. You can hide that to your own heart, your own mind, you know. So you know it. You always know what you are doing, what you are thinking. So you are the one who knows you better than anyone else in this world, right? So there is no secret about yourself for you. So therefore, mostly our own heart's questions about ourselves. Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing this thing genuinely, honestly? So especially according to the teachings of the Buddha, this comes very powerful, especially in the end of the life. You know, death is a moment that you become aware of your entire life, how you spend your life, positively or negatively. You know, you easily recall your behavior, what you more frequently performed in your life, you did in your life, that easily comes into your awareness, you know. So therefore, you should not let it happen to you, that your own heart questions yourself. Did I do this correctly? You know, did I do this genuinely? You know, for yourself, for your relationships, to the world, to society. So these are some important, powerful questions for you right at the end of the life. So therefore, this has to be something ongoing. So Buddha teaches us here, every day, very frequently we need to think about it, you know. What would be my own reaction to my own behavior, my sila, my virtues, my morality? So this is very important. So this can really enhance our spiritual path, our spiritual qualities, spiritual values in our life. So that is very important. Do we have any questions? So you can stop me at any time if you have any question or if you have anything to add, feel free. And then, Kachinuko man anuviccha vinyu sabrahmachari silatona upavadanti iti pabbajitena abhinnam pacchavikkitappa. When my wise companions in the spiritual life, after testing me, find no fault with my virtue, one who has gone forth should frequently reflect on this. This is also very important. You know, this is also about our behavior, our attitudes, our morality, our values maybe. You know, that is not only your own heart. So we need to think about how others would look at my behavior, my morality, my values, my attitudes. So we need to think that, am I living a life which should be criticized by my companions, especially my spiritual friends, my teachers. So you can generalize that to any circle, right? Am I living a negative life? You know, blameworthy life? You know, so you need to think about that every day, all the time. When you think about others, so it implies that we need to be concerned about how others would look at you, right? They can judge you. They are always monitoring you. So this is a very good way to correct yourself. This is the message here. So there are certain things that Buddha taught us in order for us to let go of the negativities. First thing is your own heart, just like the previous Dhamma factor. The second one is the others, which means the world, the external world. Be concerned about others. When observing yourself, if they will criticize you, blame you, even punish you, blame you. If you find out that, you should not do that. You should bring an end to that behavior. You should not continue that way. So it's a good way of reflecting to avoid the bad. This is important. And that's not all. Buddha says there are these special, unique spiritual people in the world who can see with their divine eyes. So therefore you cannot hide it. Even though you hide it for normal society, these highly spiritual people can see what you are doing, what is your behavior, what you are committing even in secret. So therefore, thinking about them, being concerned about their finding out, you should avoid the bad, negativity. And that's not all. And Buddha does not stop it right there. But Buddha says there are even divine beings like devas, gods, angels in the universe, in the world. They can see you. Even though they are invisible to us, they can see us. So they will find out you are wrong doing your negative actions, your wrong behaviors. So thinking that way, even you can let go of the bad, the negativity, the evil actions, bad karmas. So in that way, there's no secret in the world. You cannot hide, right? You cannot hide anything in the world. So that is a very good thing to keep in mind. So to be concerned about others, how they would react to you, how they would criticize you if they find out your behavior, your morality, your discipline. So taking that into consideration, you should have a perfect, very well balanced virtue, very good behavior, moral conduct. So that is the message there. Okay. And the sixth. Sabbehi me piyehi manapehi nana bhavo vina bhavoti pabbajitena avinnam paccayukitamba. There is alteration in and separation from all that is dear and appealing to me. One who has gone forth should frequently reflect on this. This is also very important. This is all about the impermanence. That I may have to let go of all these things. What I enjoy, what I desire for, what I crave for, what I find indulgence in, they will come to an end one day. There will be a separation. There will be a departure. There will be an end to these conditions. So there are these realities for the things that are present to me. So we need to think about it very frequently. So what will happen with him? What can happen to a person like that? Thinking always that these things are not permanent. These things are not going to be there forever. Sometimes I may have to leave while all these things are there. And sometimes these things go away from me, like in a natural disaster, maybe due to other reasons, thieves come and get it, sometimes. So things like that. So when you think about these conditions that way, according to the impermanence, you know the boundaries, you know the limits, how much you should enjoy them, how much you should interact with them, your limitations, Sometimes people get very obsessed by these conditions, thinking that these things are there forever. They can bring the ultimate happiness for them. So taking for granted, they interact with these conditions, and eventually what happens to them is the frustration, the fear, worries, anxiety, insecurity, and all these things. When you always depend on these conditions, taking for granted, you become very vulnerable. That means you always should have these external conditions for you to be happy, right? So that is the dependency on these external conditions. But when you know the reality of the sensual pleasure, especially as Buddha mostly teaches us, we always have to think about the nature of this sensual pleasure, how permanent they are. It's okay to find indulgence in that. It's okay to enjoy that. It's okay to get the benefit and comfort of these luxuries, but we have to know the exact meaning. We have to know the ultimate reality of these things, ultimate reality of our life. So then, when you have that knowledge, when things happen, when things go wrong, there's no surprise. So this is how people really get disturbed, distracted. If they have not thought about it, when these things happen, it's a real surprise for them. They cannot handle it. They cannot bear these experiences because they have never thought about it. But when you frequently think about these things, you are okay to accept it. You accept the impermanence. You know how to live with it. You don't make a big deal out of it. It's okay. You knew it, right? So it's a very broad teaching that we can apply to so many things in our life. These are some ultimate realities in our life, that these things are very short term, very impermanent. So that we have to frequently think about. And then, a very important one, the number 7. Kammassa pomhi kamma dayatu, kamma yoni, kamma bandhu, kamma patisarano, yam kammam karissami, kalyanam va papakam va, tassa dayatu bhavisami iti, pabbajitena pinnam pacchavikitamba. This is about the theory of karma. This is one of the main teachings of the Buddha. And even in other religions also they talk about the karma, the theory of karma. But in the Buddhist teachings you can find it to be very complex and very detailed and very practical also. The meaning of knowing the theory of karma, how it works, what are the consequences for our intentional actions. Is very important teaching. The knowledge of the karma actually is very important to our everyday life. Life can be very well protected, very safe when you know the theory of karma. At least to have an idea. There will be a consequence for all our intentional actions, positive or negative. The theory of karma is no longer a religious thing. Everybody understands it. According to their experience, right? Observing the nature, what happens to people. Some people say, I don't know, it's my karma. It's my karma. They don't know many things about it, but from the superficial level, they know it. What they do can come back to them, bounce back to them, sooner or later. So, Buddha gave very precise, very detailed, complex teachings about how this theory of karma works and how it affects our everyday life. So, when you get to know the karma, people make this mistake actually. They always try to interpret everything according to the theory of karma. That is also a huge mistake. You cannot define, clarify, understand everything just because of the karma. It is wrong, even according to the Buddha's teachings. Because many things happen in our life due to multiple causes. Many different reasons. And that is even the science. Right? For many things to happen in this world, in the universe, there's only one cause, one reason, one condition. Things happen in the world due to presence of many different conditions. So therefore, in the Buddha's teachings, the karma is only one of these theories that affect our life, many different incidents, what happens in the nature. But there is a very good interaction with other necessary conditions. So karma is functioning as one of the main important conditions to integrate anything in our life. Only a Buddha person would know exactly what percentage of karma is involved in this certain experience. It's beyond our normal understanding. So Buddha once taught you not to think too much about the karmic theory, because you will not be able to come to a conclusion. You can even go crazy, Buddha says. There's no enough evidence for us to, with our limited capacities, to understand how this theory of karma works and affects us. It's very difficult. So Buddha, realizing so many things, so many conditions about our life, the world, the universe, as a very unique teaching of the Buddha, the teachings on existence, the samsara we call, the circle of birth and death, how different beings, we all are being born again and again due to our own karmas. So Buddha, having this perfect knowledge, actually teaching us how this karma, theory of karma, is affecting us, positively and negatively. So the basic understanding about the theory of karma is that if you perform any action, physical, verbal or mental, out of negative intention, the suffering, the pain, the discomfort will follow you. If you perform any action, physical, verbal or mental, with a positive intention, the happiness, the pleasure, the comfort will follow you. So this is the theory of karma. It has no any discrimination. This is the uniqueness of the karma. The theory of karma is universal. It is equal, common to everybody, all living beings, not only the human beings, right? It is very common reality for all of us. So Buddha teaches us we have to think about it very frequently. It is actions that I want. If there's anything in this world that you can claim to be your own, Buddha says it is only your own karmas and nothing else. If anything is belong to you, it is your own karmas, nothing else. And it is actions that I am hired to. How do you say that word? Hair. Okay. So that is kammadayadu. That means dayadu means that is the inheritance, right? Exactly, the inheritance. The simple meaning is the inheritance. If there's anything that you can say that you inherit, is your own karma that you are bringing from your past, right? It is your own karma, your own actions, volitional actions. So this is where the teaches that how we came to this world as a result of our previous karmas, positive and negative karmas, right? There are good karmas, bad karmas, and neutral karmas even. So for the neutral karmas, there would be no consequences. They are neutral. So it's very complex. There are so many things to talk about the theory of karma. So this is not the time to address that. And it is actions that I am born from. The karma actually gave us the birth. It's very complex teaching. So we are born as human beings as a result of our own previous karmas. An animal is born due to his or her negative karmas in the previous lives. So we can see these different planes of existence, levels of existence in the world, universe, due to this theory of karma. So different beings are born in different planes of existence due to their own karmas. So it is not handled by anyone else, supernatural being or agent. This is very important teaching when you think about that concept of a creator. So this is how Buddha explains how things happen in terms of these living beings. As human beings, how things happen in our life. The karma is deciding most of our experiences. What we are going through, what is happening to us in our everyday life can be defined by the theory of karma, mostly. When actions are my kinsfolk, actions are my refuge. So, karma, my own karmas are the most supportive factors, conditions in my life. Like your relatives that you consider to be the closest ones to you. Especially in a disastrous time. Who would you recall easily? Who would come to your mind? Naturally, is the closest one, the most dear ones to your life. So the karma is like that. So if you have done good karmas, you are blessed. If you have done bad karmas, mostly it's not going to be easy. But we have no control about the past, right? When you know the theory of karma, it is not advised to give everything to the karma and just be quiet. It is not like that. There's no such thing. We can influence the karma even by living positively in the present. But there are certain karmas that you cannot control at all. Even Buddha, some enlightened beings had to go through these problems, difficult times as a result of their own negative karmas in the past existence. Like killing a mother, father, an enlightened being. There are the 5 major karmas that you cannot get rid of, their consequences. They are very powerful. But there are minor karmas that you can control by your present behavior. If you mainly practice good karmas more frequently, you can control these minor, petty, negative karmas that you have committed in the past. It is very important to understand. Once Buddha gave this example, how you can control that negative karmic actions, karmic results, consequences. Suppose you get a very small sample of salt and you put that sample into the Michigan River. Can you make it salty? No. Right? But you take a small cup of water and put some salt in it. You can easily make that water salty. Just like that. If you perform many good karmas very frequently, so you can easily influence these small negative karmas by the power of your profound, most frequently performed good karmas. there's an influence like that. So it works the other way around as well. Right? So if you have done little small good karmas, good actions, they cannot benefit you if your present behavior is mostly negative. Hmm. They cannot find good opportunities to give you the benefit because you are not having the suitable environment. So it's very complex. And even if you are wise, if you are very smart and intelligent, you can trick the karmic results too. This is exactly what happens to the Buddha and enlightened beings. They are the ones who gained the ultimate control over all actions, all the karmic results. They are the ones who ended all the karmas. Hmm. So to be smart and wise, intelligent is a better way to avoid many negative karmas. If you are smart, you know how to handle it, you know. But if you are ignorant, even many bad karmas can come to you and influence you negatively without any effort. So that is very important about the karma. When you know this, it will be a very good protection for you. When you have that conscious awareness about the theory of karma, you always watch your behavior. You always watch what you say. You always watch what you think, because they all matter. So you become very careful and mindful. So it will be a great blessing to you, you know, if you practice that every day, every moment. It will be a great protection for you. So that is number 7. And number 8. Katam bhutasane rattin diva viti katam priti pabbajitena abhinnam pacchaveti taba. In what way do the nights and days pass for me? This is also very important. How you spend your day. You have to think about it. You know, sometimes when you think about your day, in the end of the day, when you hit the bed in the night, if you are to think about your day, do you think it's always pleasant? Can be satisfied? Positive? Not always, you know. So you have to think about it. You know, how my days and nights are spent. You know, is there any meaning? Is there any value? Is there any specialty that I can notice in my day, right? Or is there anything that I can be happy about? Is there anything that I can really appreciate in my daily life? You know, this is very important because some days go blank. You know, sometimes you don't feel anything that you can enjoy, appreciate. You know, so it can be a waste of your time. You know, that is the meaning. You know, every day there should be something special in that day that you can appreciate, that you can really enjoy genuinely. You know, there should be some values for our every day. Not only the day, you know, Buddha says, even night. How can you control your night? I mean, when you sleep, I don't know about that. But you can even use it. You know, if you, especially in this spiritual path, some monks and nuns, some even people, they practice meditation even at night, right? They don't sleep. They find the value of staying awake and practicing, cultivating meditation. So there are people like that. So it is an idea, it is a thought, an attitude that we need to have, that we should be very conscious about how my time is spent. So it will bring some values to our everyday life. You know, if you think about that, when you can think about your day before you start that day, how can I make my day special? How can I make my day very beneficial to me, to others? How can make my day a blessing to me and others? Hmm? So that would bring some insight to your day. You know, you would find some important things to do. Maybe set some positive goals for that day. You know, so it can be very meaningful, very useful if you think about it that way. So that is the idea. Okay. Number 9. Kachinu koham sunyagari abhiramamiti pabbalitina abhinam pacchayukitabba. Do I delight in empty places? One who has gone forth should frequently reflect on this. So, what it simply means, actually, am I delighted in my practice? Am I really happy about my practice? What I am doing, what I am practicing, what I am cultivating, what I am following? Is there any satisfaction? Is there any delight in it? You know. So we have to think about it. So if you are not happy about it, means there's something wrong, right? Maybe there's something wrong in your understanding about what you are doing. You don't know the purpose of doing these things, where they lead to, you know. So people do things like that. Even practice meditation, do these good things, follow spiritualities, having no purpose sometimes, having no understanding what it can bring, you know. So sometimes they are confused. So these things cannot help them truly, therefore, right? So we always have to consider, is this the right thing for me? Is this a valuable thing for me? Can I be truly happy about it? Is this something that I really appreciate in my life? Is this something I really need in my life? So then you always value what you do, what you practice. This is how you even should start your meditation practice. You need to give it some love, you need to give it some value, some respect. That comes from how much you value what you are doing, what you are practicing, right? So it can be a great motivator. It can be a very positive power, energy for you to continue this spiritual journey. Okay, that is very important. And then the last one. Atthina me uttari manusa dhamma alamare jnana dasana visesu adhigato soham pachchime kale sabrahmacharihi puttho na manku bhavissamiti. This is very important, very special. As a state beyond ordinary human beings, the distinction of what is truly noble knowledge and seen being attained by me, will I at the end then questioned by my companions in the spiritual life not be embarrassed? So it seems like there would have been this tradition in the spiritual community during the Buddha's time. It implies that in the spiritual community, they closely interacted with each other, especially in the end of their life. You know, they were concerned about their spiritual practice, their progress, their understanding, their special attainments in this Dhamma practice. So it is said that their friends, their spiritual companions, colleagues, would come closer to them and help them remind about the good things that they have done, you know, good actions, and even special realizations, attainments they have attained to, you know, for a pleasant journey, for them to be so happy, positively face this departure, this death and dying. So Buddha's advice here, when it happens to you, So you have to think about when you are at the end of your life, if someone comes to you, maybe your closest one, your dearest one, your spiritual friend, a companion, a teacher, would come to you and ask this important question: have you attained any special realization, any special attainment? Have you gained any special thing through this spiritual path? So Buddha advises us, do not leave that to be embarrassed. Do not let that for you to be embarrassed and silent. That means you should have a good answer. So you should think about it every day, very frequently. So you should be able to happily say that I have attained to this. I have realized this Dhamma. I have had these special qualities in my life. At least I have lived a good life, positive life, right? Blameless life. So this is the message there. So this is exactly how, according to the Buddha's teachings, we practice the meditation of death and dying. It's a very positive, encouraging, enlightening meditation technique. When you think about the reality of death and dying, your life is going to be very different, very positive. Your life is going to be transformed in a positive way. So you should set that as a goal, as a motivator, as a powerful energy for your practice, for your everyday life. Even though it sounds very pessimistic, negative for many people in society today to talk about the death, think about the death and die. According to the Buddha's teachings, it is so powerful, so positive. There's no such a meditation that can bring you such a joy, freedom, pleasure, freedom of letting go. This deep realizations about the life as the death and dying. It is so powerful, so beneficial. So that is what Buddha shared with the monks. So then, Ideko bhikkhave dasa dhamma pabbajitena abhinnam paccayukki tabbati. Idam hoca bhagava attamana te bhikkhu bhagavato bhasitam abhinandanti. These are the 10 things, monks, that one who has gone forth should frequently reflect on. The gracious one said this, and those monks were uplifted and greatly rejoiced in the gracious one's words. So that is the end of the sutra. So these 10 factors, 10 dhammas are very important to think about every day, very frequently. They can help us, they can protect us, they can guide us, they can really encourage us, follow this spirituality, spiritual path, these spiritual values. Any questions, comments, observations? No questions? So, all right. So if you do not have any questions, that will be the end of the session today. All right. Thank you very much, and all blessings to you. Sadhu, sadhu.